All right, hey everybody, it's Emily. Just wanted to give you guys some more feedback on these portfolio websites. I've gone ahead and queued them all up here in my browser window, and I'm going to pop through one by one to take a look at how you have enhanced them since you are in editing for the web. Now, I have seen various stages of these thanks to your sharing sessions in portfolio, but I'm really excited to see the changes that you've made even since then. So we're going to start off with Stacy's, and I want to say high five, girl. This is looking fantastic. Definitely a much richer, a much more balanced approach in this. This is a great photo. I like the way that you've cropped it out, the way that we discussed. The kind of streamlined logo up here, and then using the textured background. I like the use of the green, light green seafoam color as well. Nice short little background about you. It borders and balances with this image really nicely. We've got places to connect with you on your social media down here, which is awesome. Gonna pop next to your marketing page. So here, so one of the things that I'll say is with your titling, go ahead and make it kind of title case. So capitalize the A and capitalize the me. And so for here, same thing, so capitalize marketing with that. One of the things on this page is that it seems like there's a good bit of empty space in this area. What I might do is go ahead and move this image right underneath the title there, and then go ahead and have this border the image to the right hand side, because you see it has this nice flat edge, and so when you move the image like right next to it, it's going to be flat edge against flat edge, and it's going to look a bit more balanced. So for art, so again, just capitalize this D. We've got your character design. This is all looking great. Capitalize the A there. Just really enjoying to see your work pop out and be shared this way. One thing to note though is the padding, right? So it's a little bit bigger on this side than it is on this side. It's a little bit bigger here than it is here. Smaller, larger. This could stand to be moved up just a little bit so that like the names itself aren't like bumping up right up against there. And then here you don't have any padding at all. So again, just want you to be consistent with how you are laying this stuff out. If they have the option to kind of, put this in maybe like a collage or a grid, that might also look nice. Not sure about why this M is wrapping down here, but want to push that back up to a single line up there. But otherwise, this character art is looking awesome. Resume. So here, just a little bit of background on what your skills are. I like that you've gone ahead and you've put the very proficient somewhat, just to give us more of an indication of where you are on that spectrum. And we've got your education and your volunteer experience. All of this looks great. There's a lot of empty space over here. What if we brought these two icons up and we put them on this side so it was 1, 2, 1, 2, a little bit more balance there, bring them more to the center of the page. And then last but not least, your contact, and go ahead and capitalize that. And wondering, because like we've got this big form in the middle of the page, is there something else? Is there some other information that you can, maybe move this up here to the top? Kind of looks like a bit of an afterthought there, but this is great, Stacy. I'm really proud of the way that this has evolved, and to see you kind of going through and doing the hard work of coming up with something that feels good for you. So well done. All right, we've got Brandon's site next, so definitely got our anti-hero vibe going on here. The city scenes make a bit more sense now that we're looking at, you've incorporated that kind into what we see here. A bit of redundancy, right, to have the logo here and then to have it in this, in a smaller way up there. I might make this white. As white, I think it would stand out a little bit better, and make it a little bit bigger because you have all of this space. If you kind of lose the detail a little bit of the cityscape there. We've got your contact, ways to connect with you on social media, and then just different pages that we're going to be able to check out. One thing to note, Brandon, is that you don't really include much here on this homepage at all, aside from ways to contact you. So same. and then ways to get on social media. What if you consolidated this about page and this information here with what we see on the home page, because it makes sense. It's a site about you that the home page, the main page, would have a little bit more background information on you. Let's go ahead and take a look at your work. So here, as it's loading up, we're going to see the projects that you're choosing to showcase. And so first things first, like these are images, and I'm going to have to click on them to get more detail. Just in this view, it's not really the best initial presentation of these things because they're cut off, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this logo. And here I see a little bit of the information. You say it was designed with Illustrator and artisan cake business and all of that good stuff. And it looks great in this, in this format. But here, kind of in this thumbnail grid situation, it doesn't give it like a really awesome initial appearance. And I have to click onto each one of these to really kind of find out what I'm looking at. It would be nice to have a little bit more information on the front end so that I'm not having to take this extra step to find that out. So again, like these are great projects that you've chosen to share here, but thinking about the user experience on this page alone, make it easier for me to decide which one of these I want to click and look at in more detail. Going next to the contact page, just a simple form. What if, you give us this contact page, but you're giving me contact information everywhere. What if you're pulling this form into the subfooter area here, and then it's available on every page? Between seeing everything that you're sharing here, I'm wondering if a one-page design might work better for this content because it seems like there's not much on every page. What if each one of these links like dropped you to the next section of the site? I think that might be a more streamlined way of going through this content. But overall, really excited about the way that this is shaping up. So here's Dylan's. We've taken a look at this in class, but happy to review it here to offer some of that detail information. So definitely an improvement in terms of structure and organization from your last iteration of this. You've taken away kind of the coffee mug, hot tea, icon, or including that as part of your brand, and I've gone with something a bit more streamlined. So we've got your name up here at the top, and then whatever it takes. Again, whatever it takes is the flip side of what was it? Whatever it takes, and we'll figure it out. I think that's what it was. But again, like I don't expect this is something that you're going to come to a conclusive answer on, but I want you to be thinking, how can I project confidence, and how can I accurately, depict myself and the skills and the talents that I am uniquely bringing to the table as Dylan. So here we've got a nice image at the top which evokes ideas of design. To me, that this looks like a mock-up image that's waiting for the web site to be put on the phone in a mobile display, the logo to be placed somewhere here. So just be mindful that you might have an opportunity to, if you're branding someone in the future, use this mock-up in a way that allows you to showcase some of your work. So here are your service areas. Just a couple of things. One is that you use a period here, but nowhere else. And it seems as if so photography is a very long kind of text box, and so that's why this information isn't wrapping. But if branding was the same size of a text box, then it might not wrap here. So my recommendation to you is make 3 standard size text boxes, like all of the same. Align those, and then you're going to get a more true, centering of this information. And we've got your images below that kind of define these service areas a little bit more closely. I'm wondering why we go web design here, web design, branding. To me, it looks like maybe there's an opportunity to consolidate that a little bit more. And then also, is your picture the best thing to include in all of these areas? And I say that just because, if you have work that showcases these talents, why not show that work here as well? So it's great to include images of yourself on your site so people know who you are and have that familiarity, but you definitely don't want to overdo it as well. I'm going to say this, but the inset padding on this is just like way too, it's too tight inside this container. You see this box that I'm drawing out. Make sure that your content doesn't go outside of this area. Think of it as nicely bubble wrapped so that it's not butting up right against the edges of these containers. We've got your projects. They're showcasing some of your best work, contact information, places to connect with you elsewhere online. Thanks for the photo cred. Going to jump here to the About page. And, well, I think I'm going to. I guess it's not working. Is it not working? About page, not necessarily working up there. Let's see, does portfolio? Portfolio, whoa. Now it goes to the About page. Maybe there's just a lag. The picture looks great. We've got a little bit of your background information. This page is clean and well balanced. Not much to say about it other than maybe a page title. Next over to portfolio. See, these are loading in as these thumbnail images. And now this is something that I shared with you on Brandon's site, but like it's nice to see here at least that as we hover over these things, we get the information about what you did, right? So cosplay photography, branding and photography, photo editing. So that way, like let's say that I wanted to hire you for branding, I would know that I would click on these to get a better idea of your work. I like that you have contextualized this with a little bit of information. And we've got the logo. Wondering here about kind of the cropping on this slideshow, because you have kind of cut them out on a few of them that I've seen. The other thing is like this one. I'm going to stop it. When I'm blowing it up to this full size, I can see that you likely can select the focal point area. And again, you need to be going into all of your slideshows to the metadata to give it a title and description, or it's going to default to the file name, right? And so in this case, that file name is headshot. But so either you want to make sure that it doesn't default put that in there, or put something that's more meaningful as a result. So let's see here. I like that you have the opportunity to go visit his site since you did some of his web design as well. I'm going to go down and so that was really just a testimonial. Interesting that it's included here like this. Not sure if that makes the most sense, right? You might have done it because you're trying to achieve this grid, like a 9, a 9 square grid. But this is the only testimonial, and when you click on it, I'm not so sure about the expectation of that. Testimonials are great and definitely should be included, but maybe just include it here on this page and not as a feature on your portfolio. Your blog is including your student work, which is awesome, but this page looks a little crowded, right? There's lots of containers, lots of stuff inside the containers, not much padding or spacing between these elements. It just looks really cluttered. So what can you do? Like what's up with this line spacing, right? So like it's fairly decent here, but then it goes like really dense down here. You need consistency within what we're seeing. So I would revisit this. I don't know if the tiling of it is giving it kind of this cluttered appearance. Maybe more of a listing type feature would work better, and you could space them out a little bit more. Something for you to play with there, because there's definitely opportunity to make this look better. And then last but not least, just your contact is going to take us back down to this simple form. Overall, Dylan, like high five on heads and tails, better than it was. And like I can just, I can eagerly anticipate what the next iteration is going to look like. So nice work, my friend. All right, we got Robert's site. So, very familiar with this look. Nice to see, your logo showing up here that you were working on this month. I'm going to scroll down a little bit about you. A nice picture. Not sure it should disappear when you hover over it, right? So maybe just make that an image and not like a kind of a hover effect or a button. A little short about you, kind of giving us some of your history and then ways to connect with you. These are connecting to Wix locations on the web, so you might want to update those to your social media accounts if in fact you do want them linked there. So I'm going to go next to my work. So here I'm looking at a few different things. Here's a collection of things that I've done. I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and you left align that text, right, instead of center aligning it. Center works for titles, subtitles, headings, but any kind of descriptive or paragraph text is better left align. And again, sort of same feedback. You've got these two nice images and things that you've done, except when I hover over them, they disappear. I'm going to go ahead and click on one, right? And so here you give me a larger view and then the background information, which is great. I might recommend you not bold this text, because if everything's bold, nothing is bold. You lose the emphasis. Bold is used sparingly to show attention to a particular area. So if everything is bold, nothing is bold. I'd go ahead and capitalize everything within your titles. But what I'll say is, why aren't you including that information here? It doesn't make sense. It says here's a collection. Each one has a quick case study. But if I didn't know to click on these, then I wouldn't get that case study. So why not just put some of the case study information like right here on the page, perhaps, or at least give me a title or something, more context on this page, so I can make a better decision if I want to click on it and get the case study. So here we've got random designs. Not sure what all of this white space is about, right? So like definitely move this content up. And just some of the artwork that you've done. This is great. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it's just popping it up in a larger lightbox display. And you just said this was random design, so I don't think it requires much contextualization, as these projects do. I love that you've done the case study aspect, but, think that like taking the extra step to have to go see that is a little too much. So then we've got the contact page, and this is looking awesome. Again, don't bold all of your text. Don't center align all of this. And it's just simple contact form. And again, your social media is linking to Wix. And if you want to update that, have it point to the Robert versions of those sites. But overall, this is a definite improvement from what we saw in editing for the web. And then this looks like Claudia's site. So nice to see your logo up here. What I'll say is that this version of this logo itself, it looks as if maybe it's a PNG and it's like kind of partially cut off. We've got a really sharp edge here. It's not like a nice crisp version of this. Like this is such high quality photography that the logo itself needs to be exported in something that's a bit more crisp. So definitely we should take a look at that. Your navigation links are clear and easy to see, but they're very light, and there's so much room up here. I might make them a little bit bigger and a little bit bolder, right? So maybe matching something about this size down here and this color. They're not the same. And in fact, this logo itself doesn't look like the color that I've seen before. Maybe it was exported as a CMYK instead of an RGB, something to look at. Ways to connect to you online. So I can see that these are in fact linking to your social media accounts. So there's that nice picture that was photoshopped. So this color is matching what we see in the logo. So maybe it's been updated because it looks a little bit like, it's a little bit, it's not as navy maybe initially as we first saw. This area is really balanced nicely. I would move this stuff up, right? There's a little too much spacing in here. But we talked about this and the layout, and I've seen it several times, and I'm very excited about what you've created here. We've got your resume, so I can go ahead and take a look at that too. Everything's well balanced. I think maybe this is supposed to say send, but maybe update the color of that text. But these are small tweaks at this point, Claudia, because your site is looking fantastic. And I'm excited to see, this looks like a lot of empty space, and also maybe left aligning this information, maybe left aligning it under here and then just putting your resume, maybe making this image the exact same size as this field here. But again, small tweaks because you've gotten it to a place where now you can focus on these little details. I'm going to go ahead and launch this up to see what happens. So we've got your logo, and it's nice and updated. And so this is one thing. Make sure that that this isn't line breaking, right? With the script writing, there's so much space that you can move these bullets over. And you can see that, like, you know, maybe Winter Park should be aligned kind of coming down here. This looks a little, it just looks a little haphazard, or, you know, not as thoughtfully laid out. You know, perhaps the names or the title of what you did could be styled a little bit differently, but that, you know, this is a great start to your resume. And again, it's nice to be at the place where you can make tweaks like this. Overall, you guys, a super job. You know, I can tell that you've really been working hard on this. And I hope that it's as exciting for you guys to see it come together as it is for me. So always a resource for you. I probably can be particularly helpful having seen the MIDI iterations of this so far. So even though this is in fact your last portfolio class with me, feel free to come back anytime.